These shameless Disney guests beat the soaring entry fees by sneaking in kids in strollers. Now, I thought this was like a little bit funny when I stumbled upon this, so let's check this video out. So basically, while this thing's loading, Disney has been increasing its prices by a pretty heavy margin, right? So so people are like resorting to some pretty absurd stuff. So there's basically like a family that are basically pushing a baby stroller, right? With someone inside it. And the funny thing is, now this is like a little bit blurry, but they basically hid this high school student into their baby stroller. Like this one. Like that's how crazy it is, right? Look at that. See? So a viral TikTok of a woman disguising an older child as a baby to avoid Disney World's admission price has sparked a debate online, with some wondering if it's wrong to cheat the mouse. As someone that worked entry at Disney World for years before becoming an HC Pro, I would always stop them and make them buy a ticket. Okay. I fully support this because we went in May and it was literally like taking a second mortgage out on our house. It looks like the cast member noticed, but she pretended to not see the little girl, but her smile says it all. Interesting. But let's check out the thing. So, the happiest place on earth is becoming rather expensive, which has some parents getting creative on how to cut costs. A TikTok of a woman who disguised an elementary school aged child as a baby. Oh, okay. I thought they like hid the like high school student as that. Now that's interesting. To avoid paying the admission price at Disney World has sparked a debate on whether it's wrong or genius. The video shows a group waiting online to purchase tickets for the park with a baby appropriate stroller. A Disney cast member smiles and glances into the stroller, but doesn't have anything to say about the obviously older child rolling past her, who is covered in a blanket to block her non infant legs. Once the group is past the worker, the woman lifts the little girl, who is ready to take on the day in a Cinderella dress, out of the stroller and throws the blankets back onto the seat. Okay, yeah, so basically, I'm like a moron. So for some reason, I believe that they hit like a high school student into the stroller, but obviously it should be too heavy for that stroller. But that makes more sense that they hit basically like an elementary school kid to hide the fact that she's not an infant. That makes so much more sense. I'm glad I noticed that and corrected that. Dear Lord. So when Disney ticket prices go up, reads the caption with the TikToker adding, "Poor kid was in an infant car seat." Interesting. Okay, yeah, I see it now. So they basically hid this kid inside the stroller. We paid for our tickets and witnessed the funniest thing we had ever seen, and so we decided to share it so you can laugh too. A woman who apparently was with the original poster commented on the TikTok. Entry for one to Disney World Park ranges from $109 to $159 per day, depending on the date and time of the visit, and every visitor aged 3 and up is required to have a purchase ticket. Now, the thing is, right, I'm not even mad about this price for like getting into Disney, right? The thing that bothers me so much about places like Disney is that they charge you a good amount of money to go there, and then every single item within that park is so expensive, right? Something that would normally only cost like $2, $3 is now like 12. A T-shirt that would have only been like $12 is now like 40. Like it's just so stupid. Like the markups that they do is just so stupid. So posted on Monday, the video has already been viewed over 7 million times and has commenters divided on what they're seeing. My son is 4, but at Disneyland he knows he's 2. Another row, admitting to employing the same strategy. My parents used to make me do this, another agreed. I fully support this because we went in May and it was literally like taking a second mortgage out on our house. We just teach our kids to lie about their age, but this is epic. One user laughed. I once did that with 3 kids. LOL. I told them if they stay quiet, I'll buy them all Disney dresses. LOL. However, not everyone was impressed. The way people have no shame just continues to amaze me. One person shaded the people in the video. No way. I even explained to my kids it's wrong to get fountain drinks with a water cup. It's the principle of it, another stated. The thing is, I completely understand people's thought process of, hey, this is not a cool thing to do because basically you're lying. You're basically having your kids lie. It's just not, morally ethical, right? But at the same time, I also understand parents who simply want to save money because maybe their budget's tight or they just don't want to pay the amount, right? I understand that line of thinking as well. Now, personally, I would lean more towards the morally ethical route because, it's just never really good to lie. It's just, it kind of eats at you. Even if it's a small lie, it still eats at you, right? So I'd lean more towards the morally ethical route. And I've seen many parents do this. And it's just it gives you a really weird feeling seeing it done so many times. You're like, you should really just pay the full price. So I would understand if they had 4 kids, but they only had one. But shoot, they probably had to use her ticket money to pay for the gas to get there, another person commented. Some former Disney Road workers even chimed in to share how they used to handle the situation. Work the front gates, trust me, we know, one person wrote. We are told to just let it go. And the reasoning for this, right, is actually way more simple than people might think. The reason why some of these Disney Road workers would be just told to just let it go is because if they basically stop the line for an extended period of time, that means that the park will actually end up losing a lot more money exponentially. So if they're making having to do a whole big scene with this one family over this tiny little issue, they would probably potentially lose the park thousands of dollars in revenue that day because they're like preventing other people to get through into the park right away. Another way to look at this in practice, go to any business where there's only one person working the register that's also helping out the people. Like a good example of this is someone working a phone store and they're the only employee in there. If they have to spend 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes on one customer because this one customer is making a big deal out of this whole thing, they could potentially be losing the store thousands of dollars for people who just want to come in there and buy a phone quick and easy, right? But they're having to spend a crazy amount of time because this person is just going nuts over their phone. Let's see, I worked the interest in the past, and let me just tell y'all, they didn't pay me enough to care that much. I see a stroller, kid says too, have a nice day, another agreed. I used to work at Disney and I had to ask guests if their child is under 3. I ain't even mad at this, LMAO, another laughed. So let's check out some of the comments. And by the way, if you stumble upon this in the future, feel free to give your thoughts on this and whether or not you have done this before or which route you would go and do. So let's see. So we used to fit 2 or 3 in the trunk of my car when we went to drive-in movies. We were caught several times. This was a long time ago. What? You stuffed people in your trunk? Perhaps so, but you were one of the young persons doing it, right? Not a parent piling all the kids in the trunk to get in free. There's a difference. These people are flat out wrong, period. And others need to stop justifying their dishonesty. They are stealing, period. If you don't agree with Disney ticket prices, then don't go to the park. Nobody is forcing these people to go with their kids. If you can't afford the prices right now, Take your kids somewhere else or wait until you've saved up enough to take them. But these people who are sneaking their kids in when others are actually paying should be banned from the park, particularly if they are repeat offenders. And here's the thing, right? Like, I agree with this sentiment, right? Like, this sentiment makes perfect sense because you are basically taking advantage of a situation, and basically, it's not really fair to the other people who are doing things legitimately, right? It's basically the same issue with the southern border, right? It's not okay to enter into the country illegally while there's so many people trying to go the right way through the legal process. Like, it's just not fair to them. True, but we're all being legally robbed by paying for college debt that isn't ours, and abortions to start with, not to mention all the people who shouldn't be here to begin with, but I guess you're okay with that. So basically, people are just arguing between abortion and student loans now. Let's see. Disneyland used to be fun to go into the 1970s and 1980s. I can't imagine wanting to go there now. Yeah, here's the thing, right? If you want to go to Disneyland or to some sort of park, make sure you have enough money to basically pay for like the express like passes or whatever so that you can skip the lines. Because if you're paying a large amount of money to go to the parks and then paying even more money to pay for all these over upmarked food and drinks and whatnot, but you're still having to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes in a line, having to deal with sweaty people all day. How about you just, save up a little bit more money, pay for some express tickets, and just skip the lines? Because you did that fairly by paying more money. Like, I don't know about you, but I would not want to spend basically all of my day walking around standing in lines instead of just riding rides. Let's see. I understand as a parent you want to take the kids somewhere for fun, but Disneyland is a ripoff. Disney has ripped families off for generations with their overpriced attractions, souvenirs, and accommodations. Instead of trickery to get around Disney, it might be better for people to vote with their feet. When you see Disney, run the other way. If I can't afford to pay for my children to go to Disney, I just would not go. I want to have the whole vacation experience of enjoying myself and not worrying about money. I agree. If you're going there to enjoy yourself with your family, go there to enjoy yourself with your family. Not like, oh, I need to do some crazy stuff so that I could save a couple bucks. Once you become a parent, you have to be a good example to your children and teach them not to steal. Take them on a vacation you can afford. Let's see. It's not much different from any other illegal border jumper. Current administration says that it is okay, so. eh. People have done all sorts of bratty stuff at Disney. It used to be that Disney just paid any lawsuit no matter how insane. Like teenagers knocking down a sign, this ride is closed, they get onto a closed ride and breaking their leg in the effort. Even as cast members try to stop them from doing the stunt and then suing, claiming it was Disney's fault. A lot of the people who visit Disney are super entitled. I had to deal with it as a cast member, getting screamed at all day by people who freaked out that they just missed seeing Mickey, even though that was not my fault. I worked in Cinderella's castle in college and high school. I had nothing to do with whether or not Mickey appeared in Fantasyland outside the castle. I just had to take the screaming tantrums with a smile or I would get fired. So it is annoying when guests do stuff like this lady sneaking a child past the turnstiles without paying. People like her make it difficult for the line employees who are afraid to say anything because they do still treat the customers who come into the park very well. It is pricey, but the guests get treated very well. The employees, not so much. It's theft, live within your means. Morals are getting pretty flexible these days. This is the kind of parent who will take money from their kids if it suits their purpose. This is stealing, plain and simple. No matter what you think of Disney's politics, policies, or prices, this is stealing. I find no humor in it at all. Yeah, see, this is the thing, right? I understand people's thought process on both sides, but to me, it just makes far more sense to do this the more moral route. And also, Disney kinda sucks. Not kinda. It really does suck unless you get the express pass. And if you're going down that route, you're spending even more money. So to really actually enjoy your time at Disney World, you have to be spending a good amount of money, which means that you're not going to be even bothering doing something like trying to be cheap on ticket prices because you're going to have to pay higher ticket prices just to actually enjoy your time at Disney. Because again, if you're going to go to Disney and like literally waste all day standing in lines, I think you're absolutely crazy. If you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money, and if you want to learn how I got out of debt and grew my net worth, go down below and learn how to get out of debt. But the thing is, you never want to be in like a financial situation where you feel like you have to do something like this. Because not only that, I'm pretty certain this is technically stealing, so you could potentially be charged with something by doing this.